When making a top 10 UK rappers list, it's rare you'll see drill rappers mentioned. Often grime MCs dominate these discussions. This has me wondering, are drill rappers being underappreciated? What examples can I show that at their best, drill rappers can hang with anyone? Today, alongside Kwame, we'll be discussing 5 songs and exploring the different literary devices on display in the latest episode of the... How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Obviously, I saw your TikTok where you were discussing Mizormac's verse on... Yeah. Which song was it again?
It was Grip and Ride.
Grip and Ride, yeah. What a throwback. And I thought it would be good to have you on just to kind of discuss a genre that, when I was listening to it, I don't usually think of lyricists. I think of, obviously, the violence or whatever. But now that I'm looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys were actually barring at a crazy level. So what made you even want to analyse that song in the first place?
So, you know how there's this idea that in the future, they'll be studying stuff that we did today?
Yeah.
Like in a couple 100 years' time, I can fully see in a classroom a teacher analysing previous literature and they're studying like stuff that was written today. Yeah. So I just thought, why wait a couple 100 years? Why don't we just start analysing it now? And the reason I chose that song in particular is because I really liked that song back when I was in year 9 or whenever that song came out. There was a period where I listened to it for like 3 hours straight.
Nah, I hear it.
From the whole drive from London to Manchester, I was listening to Grip and Ride, mizormac. So I just thought, like, this song is very layered. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff that you can peel back and discover more, look at it through a different lens. That's why I got the idea to do that Analysing UK drill.
When you say layered, what's some of the devices / techniques that are on display, maybe in that song, and we'll discuss some others that you noticed?
Yeah, I think in UK drill, they rely heavily on 2 literary devices, metaphors and imagery. Okay. So, for example, it's kind of like arbitrary to say, but the different types of ways that they can come up with hurting someone, it's kind of, because like, you got splashed, you got poked, you got soaked, you got dipped, you got all of these different words. It adds to the imagery of what they're saying. You can actually like picture it in a sense with the lines and how they flow. And metaphors especially, I have a video where I analyse like the different type of metaphors that mizormac uses. They rely heavily on that because, you know, the definition of a metaphor is when you describe something as something else. Yeah. And I think it's the most easy kind of literary device to use because it's so like you can come up with metaphors quickly straight away. So I think they incorporate those 2 mainly, but of course there's many more.
Yeah, and I think as well they do similes as well. And I think what I really enjoyed at the time was a lot of these references were just for people who would get the culture, maybe football, or they might have references to I know Kayo has a song Andy and Dwight with V9 where only someone who's from the UK would appreciate that.
Appreciate that song.
Americans wouldn't actually understand that, how like important that duo is to us.
What song, by the way?
Yeah, I know, right? So you've sent over 5 songs that you wanted to kind of discuss and unpack. So I thought it would be good to do that on today's episode. And the first song I wanted us to go through was Kayo's Behind Bars, because I think Kayo, if we're talking lyricism, I think he's up there.
I think he's number 1. Like,
you think he's number 1 in drill?
I think he's number 1 in drill. Specifically, I think, like, in terms of wordplay, like the art of the double entendre, the art of layering 2 or 3 meanings in one line. Kayo, no one does it better than him.
I agree.
And he does it, in my opinion, at his best in his behind bars. Like, it's just there's a lot of stuff. Every line that he says, almost every line, you can unpack different meanings from it. That's why that's one of the songs. That's why it's one of the songs I chose. Yeah,
for me, I think when he released his Man About Bars, I was like, no, this guy's levels. There's actually levels to this. Yeah. There's actually levels to this. But do you wanna start going through the song?
Yep. Yeah. So like I was saying, the way he starts the song, I'll just read out the lyrics. If they arrest us, say niche to a fed. Speaking to pigs is never an option. I put it on my life that I can't snitch. That's a cross on the blues like Scotland. I don't know, I'm reading it like it's actually a poem, but that's how
might as well. You might as well, man.
Yeah, so like I was saying, like he layers different meanings in a single line. Obviously, we know that Scotland's flag is blue. It's got a white cross on it. Yeah. But obviously, we also know that a slang word for the police, they call them the blues. Yeah. So he's saying in a way, like, he's not gonna say anything to the police officers by putting a cross on them. And I just like, that seems so simple yet it's so effective. Yeah. And he does that throughout the whole behind bars. If I keep skipping, because obviously, if we go through the whole thing, we could actually make the whole pod on this song alone. But I want to go back to...
yeah, man, we got an hour. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Okay, so probably the most famous part of the song is when he says, I go riding with heat. That's one way to deal with death. Show violence in streets. That's one way to deal with threats. Cold silent, don't speak. That's one way to deal with feds. Won't find me when we beat. That's one way to deal with skets. I'm not sure how much you can say on the mic, innit? But here I just want to highlight the structure, how it's structured, more than any of the specific words that he uses. Each line, like, I can't remember what the actual word of it is called. I wish I searched it up, but the rhyming scheme, the type of rhyming scheme that it is, it's very specific. Kayo, when we was discussing him earlier, he's one of those rappers that's very intentional with his words. I think, obviously, no disrespect to a lot of UK drill rappers, but sometimes you can tell they get in the studio and they're just saying stuff because it rhymes. Yeah. But with him, there was the words that he's speaking, he's structured it very intentionally. So I just love that specific way that he's decided to word those lyrics. He's one of those rappers that I think he writes the lyrics and he wants people to sit with it. He wants people to go, oh, that was kind of crazy that he said that. That was one. And like this passage here, these 4 lines, very simple yet so effective in what he's saying.
Yeah, no, I think KO. I think out of the 98s, he's probably one of my / him and DA, and then obviously Onoti was the superstar of the group. But yeah, he's definitely up there. Is there any other lines that you want to highlight?
Obviously, like most drill rappers, he uses the football analogy as well. Yeah, still get around sides, Ben Davis. So sides.
Yeah, because fullback in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's also the line. Loves a big Shaq, I should call him O'Neal, which obviously references the basketball player. Yeah. But like, I don't know, you wouldn't know that unless you ever watch basketball. Yeah. And obviously Big Shaq was a massive thing at the time, so no.
That's another thing. He uses a lot of allusions, when you make references to outside things, expecting the listener to already know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, that's what, he does that a lot. So it's like wordplay, structure, double entendres, and then allusions. KO is... if we're looking at it from a literature standpoint, he's up there.
No, he definitely is. But flowing on to the next song, I wanted us to discuss Skengdo and AM's Crash. Yeah. It's weird, right? Because obviously everyone speaks about harlemspartans, they speak about Skengdo and AM as well. But I feel like because they were so musically... It felt like everyone, they were going bar for, banger for banger, I should say.
That's exactly how it was.
And honestly, that era was just insane. It was actually insane. But, and I think someone who's really slept on in that camp is Skengdo, because at the time, obviously in any duo, there'll be one person who might have more hits or more of the hooks where everyone remembers it. And I feel like he kind of got slept on in that department. I feel like AM kind of stole the show. But then you wanted to highlight Skengdo's verse, which is very interesting. So, what are some of the things you saw on display?
I'm glad you worded it like that, like how one of the duos is like the main guy. He's the one that everyone goes, he's hard. And then the other one remains kind of slept on. That's why I specifically wanted to focus on Skengdo's verse. Because I feel like he's so authoritative and distinctive in the way that he raps. And that not a lot of people notice it because AM flows better. Do you get what I'm saying? So in the Crash verse, this is how he starts it. Smoke bare loud to the dome. Them man know not to like around me. Get away, the chances. Oh, already, I highlighted this in one of the videos that I made before. Sometimes drill rappers will use this technique where they imply that their enemies are already terrified of them. They don't have to say, I scare them. They just allude to it in a way. And that's exactly what the get away, the chances bar means. Like he's saying, come up against me, you've got no chance. But he's doing it in a way where he's not explicitly saying it. That's how distinctive Skengdo is with his bars. And also his whole verse on Crash, his flow's crazy already. And if you were just looking at it without all the literature and analysis and all of that, you could still enjoy the bars, but his technique makes you appreciate it from an analytical standpoint too. I want to highlight two of the literary devices that we spoke about in the past, metaphors and imagery. When he says, "Doggy, these streets are cold," he's obviously talking about weather as well. He's talking about weather. But obviously, if you describe something as cold, you're saying it's unpleasant. It's somewhere that you don't want to be. So he's managed to like merge these two different ways of saying the same thing. Essentially, he's talking about UK weather. We know it's rubbish. It was actually quite decent today. But
I know.
But he's also saying the area that he's from, the streets that he grew up in, they're not ideal. Yeah, so there's the metaphor and the imagery right there. Another line that he says, that's way before 10 toes. I had to Google this literary device. You know, a lot of people think I study English because of those videos.
Really?
I study engineering. So a lot of these words that like I came up with, I had to do my research. There's a word called synecdoche.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the example of that's way before 10 toes. So 10 toes is a drill slang term, you know, of like running away. And I think obviously I don't think Skengdo has intentionally used a synecdoche, or like he wasn't thinking of synecdoche when he was writing these bars. But again, when you're looking at it from a literature standpoint, it's like a clever way of saying what he does to his opponents. You get it? And lastly, slant rhymes. When we discussed in the emails previously, we mentioned slant rhymes. He's using words like dome, phone, cold, toes. Yeah, like it helps the passage to flow a lot better. Yeah. So, and that's one very important part of these verses, the way they flow together, and using specific words where the sounds, the slant rhymes are the exact same. Yeah. It 100% adds to that.
Yeah, I think as well with like 410, especially when what was their names? BT and Rondo first came out. It was very much aggressive. They probably, if we probably analyze their bars, they probably have some of the similar things. But with these two, it felt like more so the lyricism was like taken to another level. And you definitely highlighted someone who I definitely think is a slept on drill figure. I mean, if we're talking like top 5 drill duos of all time, they're definitely
100%.
They're definitely. Are there any other people you'd like to mention, like a top 5 drill duos of all time?
One that I previously included when we discussed it, or like
just all time. Your all time.
All time. Oh, I think Digga D's in there.
No, I mean like top 5 duos.
Oh, duos. Yeah. Oh, so obviously we were saying Kayo and V9.
Did you say they're a duo?
You don't think so?
Because I think on the T's like, what was that song? Was it Nine Vengers or something? When all 3 of them were going back to back. I don't know if there'll be a duo.
Okay.
I don't know if there'll be a duo. But if you want to put them in.
I think Biss and Zico from harlemspartans.
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy because they're all a group. So I'm highlighting them as a duo away from the group. And that's because they had this little run, 2018 to 2019, where it was just the 2 of them on songs. They had Money and Violence. They had a song called Calling My Line with a rapper called AM. I think it was them 2 on bands together. But those 2, the way they like went off of each other, it was crazy. Like I think they're definitely my favorite rap duo. Yeah, Money and Violence by those 2. That's my favorite drill song, UK drill song ever.
Really?
Yeah, yes, 100%. Like, I can't tell you how many times I listened to that one as well. So yeah, definitely Biss and Zico. And we said AM and Skendo as well. Obviously, is
Russ and Taze.
Russ and Taze, 100%. That press play media.
Yeah, that run they had was crazy.
Oh, I loved it. Like, I think they would have been a lot better if they started together, but obviously music, politics.
Yeah, but to be fair, they had like four years of like music together.
They did.
They had quite a bit. They did quite well. But I wanted to jump over, because you mentioned Harlem, to mizormac's verse on, what song was it again?
Call Me a Spartan.
Call Me a Spartan. What a classic. What a classic song. Listen to that song and I was transported right back to
literally. That's exactly how it feels.
But what did you want to highlight on Call Me a Spartan?
Okay, so the way mizormac flows, I think is unique. The Joe rapper PS like tried to like poke fun at the way he flows, because you know when he released Return of the Mac after coming out of prison, it was very Return of the Mac. He didn't like it, but I think if you're a Joe rapper, someone can hear your flow and know that that's you. That's very commendable. I think if you were to play a game where you're listening to random draw verses, but the voices are distorted, so you don't know who's who. I think mizormac is one of the rappers you'd be able to tell because of that flow that it's him. I think he's one of them.
I agree. Yeah,
okay, so if we dive into the verse,
and he's also another person who people will put in their like top 5 in terms of talent as well. Yeah,
I think he's in my top 5. Okay.
In terms of like solo artists and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyone else you would want to highlight?
Biss, him and Biss.
Okay. This is your top 5. Fair enough.
Yeah, because this is my like my personal what I used to listen to. If we was to make a most iconic ones, it wouldn't be this in my top 5. But in my top 5,
your
rappers,
personal, one.
Then this is in there.
What are the other 3?
Okay. Jaw rappers. I think I put Taze in my top 5.
Fair enough.
Should I say 2 top 5s or like the greatest top 5 and then my
No, your personal.
My personal top 5 is definitely Mizormac, Biss, Taze, Lowski, and I'd probably throw in AM.
Damn, just South, man. Just five guys for Lambert. Yes. No, I hear it though. I hear it. Yeah, those guys did have hits, but yeah, let's get into the verse.
Okay, I'm glad you just mentioned Lambeth because when I made a video analysing one of these Joe songs, someone in the comments pointed out that Lambeth is like very predominantly black.
Yeah.
So these guys, the harlemspartans guys, they've grown up in the blackest area, in the blackest part of London, South London. So when they're shouting out chocolate skin, brown and she cute, like it's not a coincidence that guys from a predominantly black area were kind of the first ones to like revolutionize the way dark-skinned women are seen in songs. You get it? So like I don't think it wasn't that popular to like shout out chocolate skin in drill music before them.
I mean, drill was still early at that time.
It was fair enough.
But yeah, no, I do. But
they were the first ones to kind of like shift away from.
Because there was also the whole controversy about like music videos just having like light-skinned women. So yeah, I do think that at that time when that was out, every brown-skinned, dark-skinned woman you knew was
So in the verse, obviously it's not a mizormac verse unless he shouts out chocolate skin. Brown and Lang. I think I'm in love with the way they rap. Obviously, bigging up what he likes. That's fair enough. But if we highlight the cultural allusions and the metaphors, it says do that Beckham thing till it bends. Obviously, reference to footballer David Beckham. That also highlights the imagery of what we were saying. How they've got so many creative ways of essentially hurting people because that's what the bar means. They're talking about the way the blade bends as well. So it's kind of like. Not weird, I would say. It's admirable in a way that he's managed to connect those two things, my footballer David Beckham to what he does on the streets. It's very commendable to me. And obviously, sorry,
go ahead.
We spoke about in our conversations multi-syllabic and internal rhymes. The words that he's using, the way he's like rhyming them: vexed, meds, neck, rep, vest, bends, and deck. These are all words that, like, when you say them at, like, face value, they don't actually rhyme. You got to say them, like, in a specific way to get them to rhyme. And that's, like, a device that even poets that we studied in school, they used the same way. When you read these lines by line, you got to say them in a very specific way before you clock before you clock how they rhyme. And that's exactly what he does. In this verse.
Jay Huss is another person who, like... You actually bend the words to what he's trying to say rather than just saying words that just rhyme, which is really, really powerful. But he's and also bending like Beckham as well, the movie as well. That was another popular thing at that time. But is there any other things you want to highlight from this verse?
Yeah, a couple more things.
Yeah, good.
Obviously, like we were saying, similes and metaphors. That he used two very popular ways that the drill rappers like to, express their words. But also onomatopoeia, which I've made a video on. A very, very popular method that they use as well. Skid, skirt to the left. That's just like, I think everyone has that one bar that they like to sing to themselves every once in a while. I think skid, skirt to the left is one of mine. Sometimes I'll randomly say that washing the dishes, I'm saying skid, skirt to the left. But yeah, he uses that and it's like, onomatopoeia is another form of imagery because skid, skirt to the left, you could quite easily say I'm in a car and I turn it, it's made that sound, but you're making the sound that the car makes. So it like transports the listener to that moment as if like you actually skid skirting to the left. And like just this verse, obviously there's a lot of debate around this, but I think it's the best verse in that song. Because there's how many? There's 5 man on that song.
TG, Biss, Zico.
It might be him. It might be his
verse. You think so? This verse is up there though.
Oh, definitely.
I think this. oof. But you know what it is? It's easy to have the best verse and then the last one though. I think that's something like Andre 3000 does. Like you'll either have the first or the last, and it's easy.
So it's more noticeable.
Yeah, exactly.
So that you hear it last, isn't it?
Like that's the one that sticks in your memory. Because I was listening to what song? International Players Anthem by UGK, and Andre 3000 starts off. I think in the remix. I'm just like, this is everything after. It was just like white noise. His verse was just crazy. So I think when you have the first or the last verse, it's just
do you think it's because you like him more though? So like you've let him flow, but then after his verse, you're kind of like, you don't know, is it?
No, because even the song with Kanye, "Life of the Party."
Yeah,
I like Kanye more than I like Andre 3000, but Andre 3000 like, washed him. So it's just
okay.
Yeah, I think when you start off a song and it's just crazy, I feel like for me, people are still thinking, how the hell has he done that? And the other person just talking and you just wheel it. Yeah, I think
definitely there's kind of like a bias towards the people who start or end the song. Yeah. But I think when I look at each of the 5 man's verses, I think I can pull out a lot more things about mizormac's verse than the others. Obviously, that's just my opinion. A lot of people have their own reasons why TG Millins is the best or Blanco's is the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I look at their verses, I think there's a lot more things I can pick out. There's a lot the way he flows as well on his verse. Yeah, I think mizormac's verse and Call Me.
And also I want because collectives I feel like are a really good way. Obviously you saw it the grime era where I feel like it was like iron sharpens iron where everyone's just trying to have that competitive spirit where they're trying to have the best verse. And I feel like back in the day when these guys used to do it, it was actually so fun to just debate like who had the best verse and stuff. But switching songs now, heading up to North London, going to OFB Reality. Now I remember when this song first came out, so like Heady One he's on fire. Yeah, he's on fire, and everything he's dropping. Golden Boots already a smash hit. Yeah, this guy's just dropping bangers of bangers. I was in sixth form, and I was just like, anything OFB related, I'm just clicking on it because I just trust their catalog.
Like that.
Yeah, and when these guys who are like similar age to me are coming out, I'm like, ooh, they might have done it again. They might have hit the jackpot with this one. So, what is it about this song in particular that drew you to it and made you want to?
So Reality by OFB, I don't even think it's their best. I don't think it's the best OFB song. I would say like their Next Up is better. Their Mad About Bars is better. This one in
the stuff is better. I was gonna start arguing, but the stuff is better. I had this that song too many times.
But this song, the way I used to play it on repeat, and obviously so when I was preparing for this, I was like trying to go through it like analytically, the analyzing thing that I do. And there's actually a lot of like literary merits that are used in this song, specifically in SJ and Bando K's verses. Because the thing about those two is, I think they just flow so easily. Like, it seems effortless to them.
It almost feels like they're rapping and the beat has to join in. The beat has to kind of catch up.
That's such a good way. That's
the way I used to picture it. I was like, the SJ is just like, it's like he's talking and then the beat will have to like figure out a way to work around him.
What's that song that he made? The Youngest in Charge. It's actually insane. But yeah, if we talk about the way Bando K's flowing, first of all, I want to highlight the personification. This man says, "Did you hear that shotgun sneeze?" He's like, obviously personification. You're applying human things to non-human things, and he's described a shotgun firing as sneezing. And I just think like that's such a. When we were studying this in school, like going through literature devices, this is one of the things that we'd pick out.
You never thought, this is what I'm going to use it for.
Literally, the poet has used this to describe this. And like, that's exactly what he's done in this song. And I think if you're just listening to it by yourself in your car or something, this song is just hard to you. But when you're looking at it from like a different lens, from an English literature standpoint, he's just used like a non-human things to describe. Sorry, he's used human things to describe non-human things just to add to the effect of it. And right as he's saying that in the midst of the same lines, he says, "I'll just step and squeeze. Did you hear that shotgun sneeze?" And like, I didn't know this. Actually, I didn't know this. I had just forgotten. But you know, like alliteration is starting starting different words with the same letter. But if it starts with an S, if the letter's an S, it's called sibilance. It's got a whole different name to it because it like has a different effect. Starting multiple words with S's, like, it makes it sharper. It adds to the intensity of what you're saying.
I feel like it's more difficult to say.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, obviously we'll never know if he did it intentionally or not. That's why I love the word perhaps. Like when I was in school, my English teacher, shout out Mr. Spine, he loved the word perhaps when you're analysing stuff. Like perhaps he's used this to add to the intensity of what he's saying. He says squeeze, sneeze. He's just done these things like the S sound is just like an uncontrollable like sharpness to it, an oomph that adds to the writing. Yeah. So, you know, whether he did it intentionally or not, we won't know, but it's interesting to look at it from that standpoint. He's also used an allusion, you know, when he was talking about making references to other things within the song. He says, blame Kermit, he just blamed a neek. If we break down the word blamed first, like, it goes back to the thing we were saying of they love using different ways to describe what they're doing. Like, blamed, if you define blamed to someone who's not really in this world, they'll be like, how are you listening to that? But, you know, he's just...
How did you get that from that?
Yeah, he's used a different word to describe what he's doing, but it's given the same effect. And he's...
I just wanted to touch on that. In terms of, like, slang, would you say there's, like, a literary device for that? Or in terms of the way... Because again, slang, it might be something that everyone just says, and then now you've put it in a song, and you've kind of made it something that's commercialized. What are your thoughts on kind of like people using the slang that's common at the time to kind of put that into...
To make this music?
Yeah.
Yeah, like slang is... Like the technical term for slang is colloquial language. Yeah. And it's used a lot in writing. So I think they're using slang in this music is like... They're using the words that are readily available to them. And people who are in that world, people who are familiar with the culture but not necessarily in the world will still know what they're talking about because, you know, they hear these words on a day-to-day. So, like, are you talking in terms of other people who aren't familiar with the culture now picking up these words because of the songs?
Yeah.
Like, how do I feel about them doing...
Not even how... Yeah, don't worry, I'm not doing like a go gatekeeper conversation. But like, it's just interesting how... Like, you might be saying that at school, for example. Yeah. Like, that may be something that someone's made up at school, and then now it's just become this whole trend, which I found really interesting. But yeah, I just thought it would be good to highlight that.
Yeah, that's how it went in my school. Like, you might hear a word in a song, all of a sudden you're saying it. You're saying it at lunchtime, and like, it's become popular. I think... Like, my memory's failing me right now, but there was one or two words that I literally started saying because of a song. Like, I had no knowledge of it prior. Yeah. And then, like, it's become my vocabulary. And, like, it was the thing to do. You hear a new word on a song and you add it to your vocabulary.
Yeah, that is interesting. Is there any other things you want to highlight in Find the Kid's verse?
Okay, so the internal rhyme that we discussed with mizormac. I'll just step and squeeze. Did you hear that shotgun sneeze? Obviously, you went through that already. Yeah. And he says, I think the corn woke her out of her sleep. Yeah. So all these words that I've just mentioned, you know, the sneeze, the sleep, all of that, that's an example of the internal rhyme scheme. And, you know, rap, I was about to say rap is supposed to rhyme, but there's a lot of rappers who would argue the other way. Yeah. Let me say, rhyming is an important component of rap, I should say. And sometimes a lot of people will think like it's the point of rap that you're like it's supposed to do it. If you're not rhyming, why are you rapping? Obviously, a lot of people might disagree with that. They don't necessarily think you have to rhyme to rap. But
I don't know, because for me with art, sometimes it's not meant to be this strict. There's these 5 rules.
There's no rules that you have to follow.
Sometimes it's just a bit of the expression, and sometimes it's like a style to not do it. It's like counterculture. It's like punk rock, for example, where it's like counter to the system. But we don't need to get too much into that because we have a big G Herbo fan, so I don't even want to angle this to some sort of slander. But
no, never.
In terms of was there any other things you wanted to?
Yeah, just the different rhyming techniques that he's using. You know how we mentioned earlier that sometimes you got to force the word to sound like the words to fit the rhyme scheme. He's done it with squeeze, teeth, sleep, neek, week, 3, speed, weed, trees, jeep, and then like it runs straight throughout the verse. Yeah. So it just shows like that technical consistency, which is a skill, definitely a skill of his that he incorporates a lot into all his other verses. And like I wanted to go through the SJ verse as well, but like it's kind of similar techniques.
Yeah, we can still go through it. Yeah, but I also think another thing with the rhyming as well, it's very. I feel like when you don't rhyme, it's like you kind of want people to kind of pay attention a bit more. Because for me, when people don't do it...
That's a good point.
it's like you kind of want people to be like, oh, they're actually listening to what I'm saying. Because I think Clavish has this flow, where he slows down to a point where he really wants you to hear every, like, at the end of his verse, you'll hear, like, he'll say just a line that he really wants you to, like, stay in your memory. And when it hits, it's like, yeah, no, that's a bar. And that's something you might be saying for a long time. But, yeah, do you want to go through the SJ verse, or do you think it's just the same type of thing?
Yeah, it's going to be the same type of thing. You know, the internal rhyme, the flow, the consistency of the way he structures the lyrics is like, it's very similar. Not the same, I want to make that clear, but very similar to Bando K's, where I think SJ has specifically written the lines that he's written in a very, like, specific way. Yeah. To make it sit with people. He's definitely not one of those rappers that's just rapping to rap, or like just saying stuff, I should say, just saying stuff. His words definitely have meaning. There's a specificity to the way he's rapping.
I think as well, especially with drill back in the day, because it felt like it was a conversation between two people who hated each other, and we were just kind of like eavesdropping kind of thing. So a lot of the times, the things when they're being specific is oftentimes to like annoy someone else or whatever. But yeah, should we head on to the last song by Ballistic? And that is Who's Next? Yeah. When you said this, I was like, what a throwback.
Do you think a lot of people know about this song?
Yeah, no. It got quite a lot of views.
It did.
It's one of his biggest songs here, though. People know this song.
Okay. Like I was saying about SJ and Bando K and Kayo as well, he's so good at layering like multiple meanings in single lines, and he's also very intentional about the way he's saying what he's saying. So if we go through it,
he's very unorthodox in the way he kind of raps compared to like other.
Say that again.
He's very like unorthodox in terms of the way he raps compared to like other drill artists, where you'd be like, what? I just wouldn't think anyone else would like tackle something. Like, you know that point you made with if you were to distort everyone's voices, I definitely think I could tell. Like,
you think you could tell Ballistic?
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
I think he'd be quite tricky for me, you know.
Really?
I think his skill lies in the words that he's actually saying more than the flow.
The flow, okay. That's interesting.
Okay, so he starts off with who's next? Which old block should we go? The one on the right or left? Like we were saying, you know, UK rappers use a lot of imagery. So already you're picturing his two up blocks in front of him. He's there with his friends. They're discussing which one should they go to. Yeah. And like we were saying about how drill rappers, they always use this technique where they imply that their enemies are afraid of them rather than actually saying it. He's saying he's so comfortable there that it doesn't matter which one they go to, they're still going to do what they need to get done. Yeah. So he's incorporated this sort of rhetorical question. Yeah, like who's next? Because it doesn't matter which one they go to. The job's still going to get done. They're still going to do what they need to do. So that imagery already, like a lot of people listening to drill wouldn't pick that up. But obviously when you're looking at it through this lens of analysing, through this lens of literature, you're picking these things up. He's indirectly saying he's not scared. He doesn't care which one they go to, because, you know, it's the same thing. They're still gonna do what they need to get done. And I made a video about rhetorical questions that drill rappers use a lot in their music. Like Biss saying, question, if gang pull up, are you gonna back your brethren? The reason I say that's rhetorical is because he knows the answer is no, you're not going to back your brethren. He's not expecting an answer. Like, he knows that you won't. And, you know, that's a technique that drill rappers use a lot. That's quite admirable to me, the art of the rhetorical question. And obviously he's using it in his hook here.
Because I feel like, as you said, I feel, how do I describe this? Rhetorical questions are something that, like, you use it in like day-to-day speech sometimes, like when you're like maybe arguing with someone or something, and it's just very interesting to hear it on a song like this. Is there any other things you wanna highlight from this verse?
He uses onomatopoeia in the hook as well. Yeah, I made a video about onomatopoeia too. Rappers use that a lot, you know, the excluded and the whoosh and the ching and all of these sound effects to add. Like a sense of danger, to add a sense of like imagery to what they're saying. It helps you to better understand what they mean. So instead of just saying, you know, I rise up my thing and shoot it, he's used the big bam. Yeah, that's an onomatopoeia to like, it helps you better picture what he's essentially on about in the verse. You know, it's a phonetic sound. It's kind of hard to say actually, but a tongue twister to me, because that, you know, it mimics the sound of explosive gunfire. Yeah. So like without saying it, he's implied at how violent he can get on this on what should we say, mission that he's on. And obviously like we were saying earlier, you know, when we analyze UK drill like this, maybe the artist hasn't done that intentionally. Maybe he just wanted to say something because he thought it sounded nice. But that's what makes it so fascinating, like being able to look at it and you're analysing it as if they did, you know, like when Shakespeare wrote all his sonnets, like there's no way all the things that we've picked out from this 14 lines that he wrote, he intended it to be there. But that's what makes it fascinating. Like it gives you a new perspective when you look at it like this. And that's essentially what we're doing with the UK drill right now. We're saying even if the rapper didn't, you know, mean this meaning when he said that, it's still fascinating to like imagine it as if he did, because it gives you a new perspective. It gives you like a new lens to look at it from. So that's what he's done with the onomatopoeia and the rhetorical questions, but also with the internal rhymes that's in the hook. You know, we could have gone through the whole song, but I'm just focusing on the hook here. He said, I release my stress on flesh, I carve out wounds in backs and chests. Now, carve, he's used the word carve, which is it's very descriptive with like, actually imagine you carving something. Like it's
one of the like serial killer vibes.
Yeah, literally. So he's used this word carve, and it's like, you can, there's so many things that you can pick out from the word carve. Like why has he used carve instead of like, you know, a different word? And like I said before, when you imagine carve, what you imagining? You imagine him physically, you know, doing this with it. So like, I think he's very intentionally used this word here, carve. It's the same way, like we were saying at the start, you know, that sometimes they might use shave, they might use poke. I think my favorite one is soak, because like they're just implying that the guy's shirt is soaked after they've been wounded. Or when rappers say like the bottom of my shoes are red, like Louis Vuittons, like that's.
And at the time that was like
that was the bar to use. And a lot of people don't actually appreciate how creative drill can get, because you know it sounds, people really ever look at it through the lens of violence and aggression. But like when you're saying all these different things that mean the same thing, it's actually quite creative when you look at it
at the time as well, there was someone would innovate. So like we're taking songs from like 2019, 2017, 2016. So someone would do it first, and then everyone would do it. Like, so then now when you look back, you're kind of looking at it from like a revisionist history where it's like, everyone was saying it. But no, when they said it at that time, everyone was like, oh my God, I never thought that someone would do it like, we'll say it like that really, which is crazy. Is there anything else you wanted to highlight from this?
Like we were saying with I think Bando K and his verse in reality, Ballistic is using the sibilance technique here as well. You know, when you use the S sound, and like we highlighted, it makes the delivery sound sharp and aggressive, and that's like a massive theme in drill music. Obviously, what we're doing right now is we're trying to look at it through multiple themes, but one of the main themes of drill, let's not forget, is the violence and the aggression. And sibilance is a very good technique to do that, because as we were saying, the S sound is very sharp and aggressive. It helps to achieve what he wants to achieve in this writing.
Definitely. And this one was a hit anyway, so it definitely worked. Because I'm speaking about it. But I wanted to end this podcast off with kind of like going through and like defining / explaining some other things that are like common in rap. So like, I wanted to speak about like double entendres, because I feel like that's something that everyone will say, and I don't think a lot of people know what it actually means. And I wanted to know if you had like a definition, like clean definition, I should say.
I believe a double entendre is when in one line you can get two meanings. You can get different meanings. So like we was discussing, Kayo does that a lot in his writing. Where he'll say one thing and like you can pick the first definition, you can pick the first meaning, what he was trying to say out of it. And then when you think about it a little harder, he's saying two things. So like I think Dave, you know, he's not a drill rapper, but Dave has done it a lot. And I think that the one example that's coming to my mind straight away is when he said cutting through bricks like the 118. Like 118. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a bus that goes through bricks. But also he's implying something else when he says cutting through bricks like the 118. I can't remember what the second definition is for the life of me, like the second meaning of that bar for the life of me is, but it's an example.
No, people get
it. You guys are gonna get it from me. Yeah, so it's two meanings, same line. That's how I would define a double entendre.
And are there any, because you mentioned Dave, are there any other like non-drill rappers that you hear and you'd be like, in terms of technical level, this guy is just crazy?
Ooh, non-drill, because obviously a lot of drill rappers like to do it. Were you mentioning J Hus earlier?
Yeah, I mentioned J Hus earlier.
I think he's quite good at it. Who would I say? I think Dave's like the best. Dave's like the one that's coming to my head right now. Man.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of his like bags.
Yeah, because he's seen as a very good lyricist.
Yeah,
but who would I say? I used to listen to Fredo quite a lot.
Okay, he's released an album that I need to even.
Yeah, and back in my Fredo days, my like year 11 days, I used to notice that him doing that quite a bit too. I wouldn't say that was his main thing, the double entendre, but sometimes he had very good examples of him using that technique. Yeah. You
mentioned what was it, that sometimes the writer might not even know everything.
Yeah.
Do you think sometimes people take things a bit too literally from artists, where they kind of just want them to just give them all the answers to their art? Because I feel like it's actually quite fun sometimes to kind of be imaginative, just like think about, okay, what are they actually trying to say? How do I interpret? What's my thoughts? I feel like sometimes, obviously what analysing is now, and people might say, oh, we're spoon feeding people answers.
Yeah.
But do you think as well, in art, it's good for people to just imagine, like, have your own interpretation?
100%. Definitely. It's definitely good to, like, when you take a song, not look at it at face value. What else could this mean? What's another meaning that you could apply to these same lines? Some people might call it a stretch. They might be like, the artist never meant this. But, that's what's so fascinating. That's what's so special about doing this, like trying to find a different lens to look at it at, because it makes the listening experience so much better when you don't look at it from just this one lens. And no, I don't think like the artist should spoon feed you every definition and
I feel like that's what Kendrick kind of has to do sometimes. He'll drop an album and everyone will be like, oh, explain it. Tell us what this means. Tell us what, and he's just like, nah, you just got to listen.
Yeah, you got to listen. You got to search for it. And like what's special about these is, even if you don't do that searching, you can still enjoy the song. But I think it makes the experience much better when you're like intentionally trying to pick out different things that the bar could mean. It makes it so much more enjoyable to apply just that layer to the songs that you're listening to.
I think that's one of the separations between like music and poetry, where music is more so the rhythm can get you, or the lyrics can get you, or the references or whatever. And for me, that's why Dave is one of my goats, is because a lot of the times I can just enjoy it for good rapping. I can also enjoy it for the meaning. Sometimes you'll have a hit. Like, there's just so many layers to it. And then also there could be this big grand theme that ties a whole album together, where I think of Psychodrama. There's a through line throughout the project, but then each individual song has bars where he's just going crazy. And then there's just it's just storytelling at a complex level that I really...
It's special the way he does it, because like you mentioned Psychodrama, there'll be like one theme that will run through the whole thing, but then each song can be appreciated by itself.
Exactly.
It's special the way he does it.
Yeah, because I think about that with like maybe TV shows or films where every scene might feel random, but then when you've watched the whole thing, it's like, it's just a whole...
Yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it.
There's a whole picture to look at. What usually makes you want to analyze something, where you want to like go through it and dissect it, would you say?
I just enjoy it.
If you enjoy it,
I think it's so fun. To like write this all down, and like every time I make one of these videos, I literally sit at my desk and I make a mind map of what each line could mean. And like we've said like a couple of times already, sometimes the rapper might not have intended this line to mean this, but like it's just so interesting to look at it like they did. To say, oh, he included this because that's exactly what we was doing when we was analysing all this back in school, going through it and like picking out a colour that the rapper said or a line that he said and going, this could mean this, or this could imply this, or he said this because of this. So it's just a fun experience to do. And one thing I will say that I'm very grateful for is in none of the videos I've made has anyone in the comments said, "Oh, you're thinking too much," or it's not that deep. Like the comments seem to be taking it in. So yeah, that's what even makes this more enjoyable, because people have never looked at drill music through that lens before. I actually got a DM from someone saying what I'm doing is so important because he's trying to make it in drill music, and he's trying to get away from this lens that everyone sees it as just violent and aggressive. So like he's appreciating the fact that I'm looking at it through other mediums as well. So it's just like that's another reason that more people can tap into it because of the way that we're going through it, the way we're analysing it, the way we're explaining it.
I think as well with drill, I feel like, because I just view it as like another medium, another way to express yourself. And sometimes an artist might not be quote unquote violent, but they could, because of the times drill is popular, that's just the medium they have to express themselves. And what else? There was a movie. What movie is it?
You thinking of a UK movie?
No, it's an American one with the lady, and she's explaining Tupac to them. It's not Dead Poet Society. It's no, this is gonna annoy you. Sorry, I actually had this in my notes. Let me just put it up.
I feel like I know what you're heading towards.
Maybe. Do you feel like you maybe would have engaged more in school if like we would allow to analyse this type of things?
If it was going through UK drill and UK rap instead of, Sonnet 18 by Shakespeare or Blood Brothers.
But again, it's good to, I guess, learn how to analyse something you don't care about. So then when you do
care about it, it's much more. Yeah, definitely though. I think every kid would enjoy analysing, music that they actually listen to over like past English literature and, all these books that we had to read in secondary. But yeah, like you're saying, it's good to be good at analysing something that you don't care about. So that even in life in general, it makes you better at, seeing things through a different lens, like finding different perspective for certain things. If you're analysing things when you're younger and you're doing it over things that you don't necessarily enjoy yourself.
100%. 100%. Is there anything you enjoy right now that you've been analysing that you want to maybe shout out to the audience?
I've been in my Afro swing bag a lot recently. But the thing is, like, if I show you my playlist right now, it's songs I don't even listen to anymore. Because right now, like, when I listen to music, I go on YouTube and I put in some random Afro swing
playlist.
Some random Afro swing mix that I find on YouTube. So like, I haven't actually like thought of analysing that music, but you could quite easily start to do it. I think Afro swing is very soulful. It's like very powerful type of music. It gets you moving, but they're very intentional about their lyrics and that kind of music as well. So I could definitely start, maybe potentially analysing that too. But I think as for right now, my content or whatever, I think UK drill it's like the one genre that you wouldn't think to analyse. That's why I'm focusing so much on it.
Analysing
because a lot of people never saw UK drill through that lens until that video. Like, I'm not saying I pioneered anything or anything, but, like, it's interesting to see UK drill as a different type of thing now. Like, you're in a classroom and you're looking at it, like, you're trying to pick out different things that the rappers said. But
it's weird because, like, if I was to, I've made videos on Dave. It's easy to do that, but with UK drill, because of the salacious nature at times of it, it's very easy to actually just forget about the music and just talk about like everything outside of the music. But is there anything you want to promote / share with anyone as we're rounding up?
Or just like plug my socials?
It's either your socials or anything you've been listening to that you really enjoyed.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start with my socials. Add me on TikTok, guys, and Instagram, Kwame Tarantino. Same app for both. Okay.
What's your favorite Tarantino film?
Tarantino, Django and Inglourious Bastards.
I even just watched Inglourious. That's a very good movie. For me, it's Kill Bill though.
Yeah, you like that movie. Yeah. My friend recently got the shoes from that movie.
Yeah,
she loves them.
Kill Bill. I feel like if you watch the first one and the second one together, it's like one big film. I think it's his best work.
It's his best work. Yeah, you think so.
But yeah, that's been another episode of the In My Mind podcast. Make sure to follow Kwame on all his socials. The link will be in the description below. But yeah, we are out.